Fame made them untouchable, till life reminded them they're human too.
In the shimmering desert lights of UAE, on a crisp evening beneath the vast Arabian sky, a figure emerged, calm yet burning with purpose, her eyes fixed on the horizon. Amid the roar of the crowd and the throb of drums echoing through the stadium, one moment crystallized everything. She rose, swung the bat with fluid grace, and sent the ball racing to the ropes. Then she turned to the crease, donned her gloves, and unleashed a spinner's tense, tumbling delivery. 2 wickets in 1 over, the opposition's hopes drained in mere seconds. The crowd went silent. Time slowed, and through that stillness, her name cut like a blade. Amelia Kerr. In that instant, she became the fulcrum of a nation's dream. New Zealand's White Ferns, finally writing their name in global cricketing history. Amelia Kerr, born in the green, rugged hills of Wellington, New Zealand. A cricketing household where the crack of willow and the hiss of leather against pad were as familiar as the dawn chorus. From the moment her elder sister Jess walked out to bat, little Amelia was carving out her own pilgrimage. Quiet, resolute, determined. She made her international debut at the astonishing age of 14, not as a novelty, but with a purpose. Towering in stature, lithe in movement, Kerr became synonymous with a rare alchemy, a batter who could dismantle bowlers in 1 over, a spinner who could twist ankles in another. In 2018, she wrote her name into the record books, 232 runs in a women's ODI against Ireland, alongside 5 wickets in the same match. She wasn't just an all-round cricketer. She was a promise. A promise that New Zealand women's cricket could ascend, could dominate, could inspire. And now, in 2024 and early 2025, she found herself at the heart of something seismic. A transformation, a viral moment, a trend that would carry her name around the world. October 20th, 2024. The final of the Women's T20 World Cup in the UAE. New Zealand, long yearning for a world title, finally stood on the brink of glory. Amelia Kerr stood tall, 43 runs off 38 balls with the bat, and then 3 crucial wickets in the field. 2 key dismissals, Laura Woolvart and Annika Bosch, in the 10th over, turning the game. The White Ferns lifted their first global trophy. She was named Player of the Final and Player of the Tournament. January 28, 2025. At the prestigious awards night of the International Cricket Council, Kerr becomes the first New Zealander to receive the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy, ICC Women's Cricketer of the Year. A recognition not just of one match, but a defining year. 43 wickets, 651 runs across formats. April 2025. At the New Zealand Cricket Awards, she achieved the almost unimaginable. A clean sweep of all major women's cricket honors. Debbie Hockley Medal. Women's ODI Player of the Year. Women's T20I Player of the Year. Super Smash Player of the Year. Her name swept through every category. The story of Amelia Kerr's rise is one of patience, perseverance, and quiet explosion. It begins in Wellington, a city where wind-swept streets meet inland hills, and where the echoes of cricket can drift far into evening. Her sister Jess played. Her family watched. Young Amelia, barely more than a child, found her game not by accident, but by invitation, by observation, by mimicry, by sheer love of the sound of leather on willow. That sound became her heartbeat. By 2016-17, she was already wearing the Ferns silver fern on her cap. A teenager among women, she had steel in her spine and fire in her veins. Her leg spin developed early, a rare craft in women's cricket, and she could bat with a flair that belied her age. In an ODI against Ireland in 2018, She struck 232 and took 5 wickets, forging a record that still stands. But greatness is rarely linear. There were setbacks, there were tours where runs didn't flow, there were series where the ball pinned her down. The world looked at the Ferns and remembered the near misses. They had come close, but never across the line. Until 2024, leading into the Women's T20 World Cup, New Zealand was the underdog. They were strong, but the giants of the game, Australia, England, India, still loomed large. Kerr was the fulcrum. As the tournament progressed, she picked wickets, built innings, held the field. In the final, under the UAE crush of heat, the ticker's numbers kept climbing. Her 43-38 came at a time when the team needed composure. When the bowlers needed support, she was there. Then the ball, 2 key wickets in 1 over. The rhythm of her spin uncanny in the intense moment. New Zealand won by 32 runs, their first world title. Kerr, player of the final, player of the tournament. The world took notice. Social media lit up. Clip after clip of her googly, of her late-cut 6, of her trademark calm before the bowl. She was trending. The headlines weren't just another star, but the emergence of a phenomenon. In the corridors of cricket boards, the talk turned to investment in women's cricket. In the stands, young girls wore Kerr's jersey. The trend was more than stats. It was inspiration. At the ICC Awards in January 2025, she became the first Kiwi woman to win the top gong, a milestone. Her 2024 numbers were emphatic. According to some sources, 29 wickets in T20s for the year at average strike rate on 13.6 and 387 runs, and across formats, 43 wickets and 651 runs, numbers that place her in the rarefied air of all-round superstars. As if to underline the dominance of the moment, at the National New Zealand Cricket Awards in April 2025, she swept all categories. The Debbie Hockley Medal, the Women's ODI and T20I Player of the Year Awards, Super Smash Women's Player of the Year. She was everywhere. But the story doesn't stop at trophies or headlines. The trend she represents is deeper. In New Zealand, cricket for women has often existed in the shadow of its male counterpart. But one chart, one statistic, one televised final can change mindsets. Kerr's impact went beyond dismissal of batters and accumulation of runs. It carried a message that women's cricket in New Zealand can be world-class, that the player in the stands today could be the hero tomorrow. Her style, tall and loose in the crease, she plays with a long lever of the bat, yet dances on her toes when she bowls her leg spin. She is as comfortable deploying flight and drift as she is flicking boundaries behind square. Her fielding? Crisp, athletic, confident, a piece of the fabric. And off the field, she speaks quietly but with intention. Of balance, of training, of teamwork. The trend around her? Viral moments, the paddle sweep that turned a maiden over into 20 runs, the tribute selfie with fans after the final, the Twitter clip of her gloves raised high as fireworks burst overhead. The images saturate Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. The style, pink-trimmed uniform, smile steady, hairs flying, became iconic. And not just for New Zealand, but globally. Analysts began to say, "Watch her leg spin. She's rewriting how women bowl spin." In the current season, Kerr reached another personal milestone. She claimed her 100th ODI wicket during the Women's ODI World Cup. Dismissing Phoebe Litchfield of Australia, to that moment wasn't viral for glamour alone. It symbolized longevity, consistency, the ticking of time onto something meaningful. But there is drama in this story too. The tension in sustaining greatness, the pressure of expectation, the fear of injury. In an early match versus Australia in March 2025, New Zealand faltered and Kerr battled, scoring 40, but seeing the side collapse. There are nights where the leg spin doesn't dip as much, where the bat doesn't hum. The trend invites emulation, but also invites critics. In Reddit threads, fans debate, "She had a great YTD, but did she dominate all three formats?" Yet the beauty of the story lies in that very tension. The one who rises must fight to stay on top, must resist complacency, must evolve. Kerr has talked in interviews about the weight of records, the gaze of cameras, and the need to find stillness at the crease. She has said, "Playing India is always a challenge. Spin in subcontinent conditions is something I relish." And so the narrative cues shift. 2018's record knock, years of building, 2024's explosion, 2025's consolidation, and the influx of trend. Everywhere she turns, someone records, someone streams, someone young replicates. In India's audiences, in Pakistan's viewers, in Australia's commentators, they speak of Kerr as the next leader of the women's game, someone sparking a shift. She becomes more than a name. She becomes a movement. Behind all that, one must see the person, out of the stadiums, away from the TV lights. The quiet training sessions at Basin Reserve, the early morning leg spin drills, the hours in front of screens analyzing dismissals, the family dinners when results come in, the message notifications, the travel fatigue, the adrenaline spike before every game, the parental pride when Jess says, "Go, Mealy," the sibling laughs post-match when a wicket was cheeky. The trend? It is this idea. The rise of women's cricket, visible, viral, unstoppable, embodied in a young Kiwi all-rounder who walks tall, bowls sly, bats true. The images circulate. Kerr fist pump after hat trick, Kerr raising the trophy, Kerr hugging teammates in the tunnel, Kerr walking through the airport with her silver fern cap. These are not just sporting visuals, they are cultural snapshots. She has become a face, yes, but more, she is an archetype. What I did, you can do. In a world where cricketing icons are carved out of centuries and 5-4s, Kerr's story is different. She built across formats, across roles, across expectations. She carried her nation, and though the headlines read, "First World Title," "First Kiwi ICC Top Award," "100th Wicket," the deeper story is this, of a girl from Wellington who believed the boundary was not the limit. And as she steps into the future, 2025 and beyond, there is both excitement and burden. The next generation watches, rivals sharpen, analysts whisper about technical tweaks. But Kerr moves forward not with swagger, but with focus. She understands that every viral moment fades, but legacy remains. She wants to leave behind more than records. She wants to leave a path. From the small indoor nets at home to the blazing stadium lights, from the sledges in the field to the cheers of thousands. It's been a journey, and the trend around her continues to gather momentum. Sponsorship contracts, global brand deals, increased attention to women's leagues. Her face appears on billboards, her name trending in Twitter hashtags, Amelia Magic. Fans in the stands hold signs, "A Go Meli," and in social media loops, clips play. Her Yorker that clips off stump, her late cut that races to third man, her leap to clutch a low-skied catch at point. The energy is contagious, yet through it all, the core remains, the game of cricket. The ball, the bat, the field, the moment. And Kerr stands at the center. She is not infallible. She drops a catch. She showers in questions. But she is honest. She trains when tired. She listens when quiet. She acknowledges the past storied players of New Zealand and yet creates her own chapter. Inevitably, the question arises, what's next? next World Cup, the next milestone, perhaps 200 ODI wickets, perhaps an Ashes-style dominance, perhaps a captaincy. Perhaps she transcends the sport and becomes an ambassador for dreams. What we know, the viral moment has already happened. But this is not a peak. It is the rising arc. In that arc lies the real trend. Not just Amelia Kerr the star, but Amelia Kerr the symbol. A herald for women's sport, for New Zealand's place on the world stage, for young girls with gloves in hand and eyes on the fence. The reflections in her helmet glass reveal more than runs. They reflect possibility. And as we sit here now, in 2025, watching the next clip go viral, Kerr's no-look flick for 6, Kerr's wrong-on that perplexing. The roar of the crowd that once sat silent, we recognize we are witnessing more than a cricketer rising. We are witnessing a movement crystallizing. The unforgettable hook moment in the desert night was just one frame. The entire film is still being written. Her footsteps echo in the stadium, across continents, into stadiums where girls stand in the boundary ropes, dreaming. That is the true viral force, a legacy in motion, a trend that transcends hashtags and highlights. And Amelia Kerr stands, center stage, calm yet electric. If you've been captivated by this story, of a girl who turned into a legend, of a trend that became a movement, then stay tuned. Follow Amelia Kerr's journey. Watch the next innings, the next wicket, the next boundary that sends the stadium into euphoria. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment when history is being made. Leave a comment below. Which Amelia Kerr moment inspired you most? Share this story with friends. Let her journey ignite conversations across the world. Because when a girl with a bat walks out onto the field, she's not just playing for the scoreboard, she's playing for us all.